The information provided in this podcast is for general informational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. Listening to this podcast does not create an attorney-client relationship with Foyle Legal. For advice tailored to your situation, please consult a qualified legal professional. Welcome to Personal Injury Claims Explained by Foyle Legal, your trusted source for understanding personal injury claims in Western Australia. Each week, we simplify complex legal issues, from motor vehicle accidents to workplace injuries, so you can confidently navigate your rights and claim the compensation you deserve.
You ever think about what happens after a car accident?
Oh, yeah.
Not just the fender bender kind, but like the kind that really throws your life out of whack.
Right.
We're diving into that world today, motor accident compensation in Western Australia.
Okay.
And our guide is this really interesting article from Foyle Legal, these Perth lawyers who are all about getting people what they deserve.
Yeah, Foyle Legal is known for breaking this stuff down clearly, which can be a lifesaver when you're dealing with the stress of an accident.
Totally. So no sugarcoating it.
Yeah.
What's the worst case scenario? Someone's banged up, their car's totaled.
Yeah.
What are they looking at financially?
Well, in WA, you've actually got legal recourse beyond just the immediate car repairs.
Okay.
We're talking medical bills, sure, but also lost wages if you can't work. Right.
And this is where it gets interesting. You can actually claim for pain and suffering.
Pain and suffering. That's not just some expression.
Right.
You can put a dollar figure on that.
You absolutely can. And Foyle Legal highlights how crucial it is to document that properly.
Okay.
This is where that detective work comes in that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
It's not just about proving the accident happened.
Right.
It's about proving the impact it had on your life.
Okay. So let's say the worst has happened.
Yeah.
Aside from calling a tow truck, what are the first steps someone should be taking?
Oh.
I'm guessing it's not posting accident selfies.
Definitely not. Your social media presence is actually a key factor, Foyle Legal points out.
Really?
But in terms of immediate action, think of it like this. You're laying the groundwork for a potential legal case.
Even if you don't think you'll need it.
So playing devil's advocate here,
Yeah.
why bother if I'm not even sure I'll want to go down that road?
Because, and this is straight from Foyle Legal's playbook,
Okay.
memories fade, evidence disappears.
Right.
And you might not realize the full extent of your injuries or losses right away.
It's like that saying, hope for the best, prepare for. Well, a lawsuit in this case.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Take photos of the accident scene from multiple angles.
Okay.
Get clear shots of any visible injuries. You have damage to the vehicles, even the weather conditions.
Wow.
It all matters.
Okay, so we're basically paparazzis of our own misfortune.
Think of it more as a meticulous record keeper.
Okay.
And don't forget to grab contact information from any witnesses.
Right.
Their accounts can be invaluable later on.
Makes sense. A neutral third party is always more believable than someone who's potentially getting a payout.
Right.
So we've got the photos, the witnesses, anything else.
The police report is absolutely crucial.
Oh, right.
Foyle Legal can't emphasize this enough.
Okay.
It's the official record of the accident and often forms the basis for any insurance claims or legal action.
Right.
Make sure you get a copy of the report.
So even if it seems like a minor accident at the time, better to have that paper trail just in case?
Precisely. You never know when you might need to rely on it.
Yeah.
Now, beyond the immediate aftermath, there's the ongoing documentation.
Okay.
Medical records, for example, are gold.
And not just doctor's visits, I'm guessing.
Right.
If I have to do physio every week, like all that adds up.
Exactly. Keep track of those appointments, the cost of the travel time, even the impact on your daily life.
Right.
Remember that pain and suffering we talked about?
Yeah.
This is where you build that case showing how the accident has rippled outward.
Okay. This is where I think a lot of people would just throw their hands up,
Sure.
It feels overwhelming.
Yeah.
Is it worth getting legal help, even for what seems like a straightforward accident?
Well, Foyle Legal's stance is pretty clear on this.
Okay.
Rarely is an accident as straightforward as it seems.
Right.
Insurance companies have their own playbook, you see,
Yeah.
and it often involves minimizing payouts.
Okay. So they're not exactly incentivized to be generous.
Right.
But let's say I want to fight for every penny.
Yeah.
How do I even choose the right legal eagle?
Don't just go for the flashiest ad you see. Look for someone who specializes in personal injury,
Right.
especially motor vehicle accidents.
Right.
Foyle Legal recommends asking about their experience with cases similar to yours, their track record with settlements and court cases.
So it's like checking their lawyer report card.
Exactly.
What about their fees? Is that something you discuss up front?
Absolutely. Reputable firms like Foyle Legal will be transparent about their fee structure,
Okay.
which can vary.
Yeah.
Some work on a contingency basis, meaning they only get paid if you win your case.
That's good to know. It feels less risky that way.
Right.
But let's say for whatever reason, I'm going it alone, no lawyer.
Okay.
What's my play when it comes to actually dealing with the insurance company?
First, remember you're dealing with professionals. Keep your cool, be polite but firm.
Right.
And this is crucial. Everything's in writing.
Okay.
Emails, letters, keep a record of every interaction.
Smart. So if they try to say, oh, we never talked about that,
Yeah.
you've got the receipts.
Precisely. Now, when it comes to negotiating a settlement, this is where that meticulous documentation pays off.
Okay.
Present your case logically. Back it up with evidence.
Right.
And don't be afraid to push back if their initial offer feels low.
So it's like a poker game, but
Right.
instead of chips, it's my well-being on the line.
Exactly.
What if they lowball me and I'm not budging?
That's where things can get tricky.
Okay.
Foyle Legal outlines a few scenarios.
Mhm.
Sometimes a strongly worded letter from you outlining legal precedents and the strength of your case can be enough to make them reconsider.
So it's all about showing them you've done your homework.
Exactly.
But what if they dig in their heels and flat out deny the claim?
Right.
That feels like game over.
Not necessarily. Foyle Legal actually specializes in this kind of situation, denied claims.
Okay.
This is where their expertise can really shine as they know all the ins and outs of the appeals process.
Okay, so round 2.
Yeah.
What makes a good appeal? Is it just repeating myself louder this time?
It's more strategic than that.
Okay.
This is where you might need to bring in expert opinions.
Okay.
Medical specialists who can back up the severity of your injuries, for example.
Right.
Foyle Legal often uses this tactic to demonstrate the long-term impact of an accident,
Okay.
which can significantly increase the settlement amount.
So it's like bringing in the big guns, showing the insurance company, this isn't just about a few weeks of discomfort. It's potentially life-altering stuff.
Exactly. And this is another area where having a lawyer can be invaluable. They can navigate the legal complexities, gather the right kind of evidence, and present your case in a compelling way to the insurance company or even in court if necessary.
So even if someone's initially hesitant to lawyer up a denied claim, might be the wake-up call they need.
Exactly.
It's like calling in the special forces when the stakes are high.
That's a great analogy. It's about having someone on your side who understands the battlefield and can fight for what you deserve.
It's like they say, don't bring a knife to a gunfight.
Right.
Or in this case, don't bring a stack of medical bills to a legal battle without some backup.
Well said. Now, even if the legal side sounds daunting,
Yeah.
remember what we said earlier about documentation.
Right.
That's something everyone can do whether they have a lawyer or not.
Right, because even if your case never sees the inside of a courtroom, that paper trail is what backs up every conversation,
Yeah.
every claim, every negotiation.
Absolutely. And you'd be surprised how often those seemingly insignificant details
Yeah.
can make or break a case.
Well,
Foyle Legal mentions this one case where a client's social media post,
Mhm.
seemingly unrelated to the accident, actually contradicted their claim and ended up costing them thousands.
ouch. Talk about shooting yourself in the foot.
Right.
So it's not just about gathering evidence.
Right.
It's about being mindful of what you put out there, even after the fact.
Exactly. Your digital footprint matters just as much as your physical one in these situations.
Yeah.
But on a more positive note,
Okay.
let's talk about what it all means for our listener, the person who's just been through this stressful, disorienting experience.
Right, because we've thrown a lot of info at them. Evidence gathering, legal advice, insurance negotiations.
Right.
It can feel overwhelming.
It absolutely can. And that's why, at the end of the day, the biggest takeaway from Foyle Legal's advice is this. Knowledge is power.
Okay.
By understanding your rights, being proactive, and seeking expert guidance when you need it,
Yeah.
you're taking control of the situation, not letting it control you.
So it's about advocating for yourself, whether that means meticulously documenting every detail
Right.
or knowing when to call in reinforcements like a lawyer who specializes in these kinds of cases.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And even if you never experience a serious car accident,
Yeah.
this knowledge empowers you to help others who might be going through it. You can be the one who says, hey, I remember listening to this deep dive, and here's what they said you should do.
It's like that friend who casually saves the day because they remembered something obscure but important.
Exactly. Because you never know whose life you might impact with this knowledge.
That's a great point to end on. We've covered a lot of ground today,
Yeah.
from the nitty-gritty of evidence collection to the high-stakes world of legal battles.
Right.
But the key takeaway is this. After a car accident, knowledge is your best defense, and preparation is your strongest weapon.
Well said.
So until next time, stay informed, stay safe, and remember, you've got this.
Thank you for listening to Personal Injury Claims Explained by Foyle Legal. We hope this episode helped clarify your rights and next steps in your injury claim. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and visit foylelegal.com for more useful information. See you next time.